Well, good afternoon. And this is the day before my procedure. I'm going to have a biopsy taken of my prostate tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I have to go buy a fleet enema and all that kind of stuff. All these very interesting details, I'm sure, are fascinating to people out there, but this is not the reason why I'm making the video today. I was just thinking about what I used to do as a pastime. Back in the day, as they say. And I'm talking about 40 years ago when I'd just gotten out of the U.S. Air Force back in the United States, and I had this fascination for movies. I just would watch anything that was on film almost. I mean, I don't care what it is, I would watch it. And so the best place to go for me was to Philadelphia, just right on Chestnut Street or just off Chestnut Street, where they had numerous theaters, and they would open up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they would run until about midnight. Most of them would. Some would close earlier. And some were really intricate places. They were like palaces inside with beautiful upholstery and, balconies, and they had sections set off for very expensive tickets where you could get waited on and that kind of thing, and big screens. Anybody today, okay, that is under the age of 40 who tells me that they went to a movie with a big screen has to prove it to me, because I don't believe you. But because I came up in that era where you had theaters that had a big screen. Not only did they, was it a theater, but also there would be like a clothing store attached to stores attached to it, like a jewelry store, clothing stores, restaurants, all sorts of things. And then you'd go inside, and it would just be this big lobby. And a movie was a big deal in those days. To go to a film, and you'd go inside there, and you'd have this huge screen, and everything was about 10 times larger than life or more, and so going to a movie was a different experience. Well, one theater showed movies 24 hours a day. I mean, any kind of a film that you could imagine, from the silent film era all the way up to more recent films, probably that had been released within the last 5 years. They didn't have any first run movies. That they did not have. But they did have everything up to that point. And some of these films, I doubt very much if they even exist anymore. I can't remember the titles of them. I did go and watch a silent film festival one time, and it was really remarkable, watching some of these films that, just don't exist anymore, and at least to be shown like that. And then there were others too, black and white films, talkies obviously, and color and everything else, right up through the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And this theater shut down, I think, in 1972. But it was open 24 hours a day. You could go any time of the day or night, go in and watch a movie. For 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, watch a movie. Sit in there all night long if you wanted to. Now, some people thought that this was a hangout for gays and perverts, pedophiles and so forth, and prostitutes and whatnot. I was told all those kinds of things. I don't know that. I was never approached in there. The only thing that I did was go to watch the movie because I was hooked on film. So this is how it was for me when I got out of the service. This is what I liked to do. I liked to go see the movies. And remember a woman that I was seeing for a while, just a very short period of time. We went to see The Andromeda Strain in Philadelphia when it first came out, when it was first released. And what a fantastic film. I still like that movie. Every once in a while I'll watch it when it's on television or when I see it on Netflix or something like that. But I saw it on the big screen, and it was really a controversial film in 1970, 71. hey, things changed. Finally, 1980 came, and after that, you started getting the advance of the multiplex theaters. I don't know when exactly that era started. I'm sure that some of you out there can tell me the exact year, time, and date. But to me, I remember it in the early 80s and started to knock out the big screen, one screen theater, because they couldn't support. It was too expensive to support. They couldn't get enough customers to support that kind of theater. So today you have smaller screens, more theaters, and I don't even go to them anymore much. What I do is I belong to Netflix. I belong to Netflix, and that's how I watch my movies. I like the DVDs because they have extra features on them. Sometimes I'm interested in how the film was put together, and so on. If they ever went back to big screen films again, big screen theaters again, I would stop getting the DVDs. I would just go to those kind of theaters. That's what I would do. One thing they had in those days, they had what they called avant-garde films. Today they're all avant-garde. I mean, they're all, R-rated and all that kind of stuff. And got some weird shit going on sometimes. But in those days they had avant-garde films. And two films. The first movie, Alien, the first one, was shown as an avant-garde film. It was released to a limited number of theaters to be shown. I remember reading a review of it in Omni magazine when it first came out, when that movie was first released, and then I decided to go see it. But I had to find a theater where it was being shown. So it was being shown at a theater about 2 or 3 miles from where I lived, and I went to see that film at this theater. Very fine movie. About 25 people in the audience. That's all there was. And they walked away going, wow, what a great film. And, of course, it picked up in the mainstream theaters and began to, of course, it's been a cult film ever since. I mean, a very, very good film, the first one. Another one was, well, I can't think of it. It was with Peter Sellers. He played like a triple role in it. Had to do with an atomic apocalypse. I'll think of the name of it after a while. Black and white movie. Again, very good film. Saw that at the same theater, but this is like 15 years after it was made. But it was still considered an avant-garde film. It wasn't considered a mainstream movie. So, these are the things I've been exposed to as a movie watcher. And that era is gone, unfortunately. I miss it a lot. I miss it a lot. I miss Chestnut Street. I miss those offbeat back alley theaters that were open 24 hours. I miss the truly artsy avant-garde films that were made that were truly great films, but they just couldn't make enough income to be worthwhile and keep making anything like that. So that's all I have to say about it. Hey, it's just like everything else that goes away. It just goes away and it's gone forever. And it takes people like myself to remember it, dig it back up, and bore people with it, I guess.